Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Beyoncé and Jay-Z, you are embroiled in a scandal. Everybody is wondering, were you there at the Justice Reform Alliance kicking with Jared and Ivanka or not? And y'all, listen, they said they wasn't. There's pictures showing they were. I think everybody's missing the real issue. Now, hear me out. Hear me out for 10 seconds. Okay, maybe a few minutes, but just hear me out. I'll make this quick. Y'all, I think there is a civil war at Roc Nation. I think there might be something deeper going on. And I think that Desiree Perez, if she is not the real brains and brawn behind Roc Nation, that Jay-Z might be being pushed out. Okay, I know, ladies and gentlemen, it's a lot. However, I have stuff to present to the distinguished jury. Shall we get into this, okay? Now, look, right? First of all, Jay-Z wasn't just a attendee at a charity event. Jay-Z is one of the co-founders. He is one of the pivotal co-founders of the Justice Reform Alliance. That is his mess. He built it brick by brick, okay? Now, they brought in Meek Mills, arguably one of the most talented rappers of our generation, and also arguably raps Village Idiot. All right. They have Michael Rubin, who felt free to speak that we as black people, we don't support each other. We tear each other down. That's right, Michael. You show your boo, Meek Mills, what it looks when somebody's 10 toes down for them. There is Robert Kraft. Let's not forget that whole massage parlor thing that kind of went away. Everybody acts like they don't remember, but you know what? Who cares? Let's focus on what everybody's talking about, that Jay-Z and Beyonce stuff. See, here's the thing. Jay-Z, okay, is 100%. He built that mess, the founder of the Justice Alliance, brick by brick. He was co-host of the event. Now, here's what I want to know. Jay-Z was not mentioned at all in Ivanka Trump's post. But every other co-founder was Robert False and Michael Rubin. Okay? Now, some people may be like, oh, well, that was strategic because they knew the girl. Nah, because the Instagram page that posted the picture of Beyonce and Jay-Z sitting in that event was from Beyoncé or whatever. Anyway, it is one of Beyonce's most legit fan pages, and they get pictures and exclusives before that. I do not think that one of Beyonce's super fans would, first of all, get that picture, because they would have had to get it from, I would assume, somebody in Beyonce's camp. And I assume they would not have posted it without Beyonce's permission. Okay, right? So they're there. And Jared and Ivanka don't post Jay-Z or Beyonce. They act like they don't exist, even though he was the co-host, he is the founder, he was part of even making the seating chart, I would imagine. If not him, his office. But you know who was front and center? Desiree, making her daughter-in-law the CEO and new face of the Justice Reform Alliance. Desiree's daughter-in-law was front and center, key and cheesing with Ivanka, which, fine, who cares? But where was the respect shown to Jay-Z? People started wondering, whose charity is this? Who's really pulling the strings? Think about it. Not only that, but she was just named, Desiree's daughter-in-law was named the CEO and the new face of the Justice Alliance Reform. Up until then, Meek Mills and Jay-Z had been the faces, and Jay-Z was the 50% founder, okay? Now, let's also not forget that, remember that whole academics thing? When everybody was like, King, the academics showed the lawyers screen and all this other stuff, and I was just like, oh boy, right? It was amusing, but oh God, right? The one thing everybody looked over is the lawyers that were involved with the Milagro case that were representing Roc Nation were more concerned about reporting back to Desiree than they were about Jay-Z. They didn't even mention Jay-Z's name. Why? Because the civil war at Roc Nation Is Desiree doing a hostile takeover, or has she been running this ish for the whole time? Now, Jay-Z has a history of giving control and stakes away as long as he gets to pretend to be the face. Now, by pretend, I mean, like, of course he's involved in there, but look at Barclays Center. It was sold to the people in Brooklyn that Jay-Z, Brooklyn Stadium Nets, and he was involved. But his percentage was, he was a super minority owner in that. Doesn't mean he didn't get money, doesn't mean he didn't get rich, didn't mean he didn't do it. But compared to the other money that was thrown in, he was not the thing. We thought that was Jigga Man's whole thing. Again, he was the face of the Barclays Center, even though he was not even the biggest minority owner there. And minority, I mean the share of money, okay? So that's another thing, right? Now, the thing is, people are saying, is he going to be the face of Roc Nation for much longer? Because Desiree seems to be putting everybody in her family in charge of stuff that traditionally, that was Jay-Z's mess, all right? And also think about this. Desiree recently went from not wanting to be a silent partner, right? Well, I'm sorry, wanting to be a silent partner with the whole Roc Nation Justice Reliance Reform in the background to now being front and center in every single photo. Now, again, this is just my opinion. Maybe I'm getting this all wrong. I'm just letting you guys know the little things I've been noticing. And baby, I've been noticing a lot. Again, maybe this speculation, this opinion is way off base. But I don't know. The fact that Ivanka and Jared didn't even bother to even show any respect to not only the co-host, but the actual founder of the charity that she was invited to. Now, right? Again, everyone, I think, is focusing on the wrong things. They think it's Jay-Z pulling all these strings behind the scenes when really, is it Desiree? Could Desiree have been the brains from day one? Think about it. Desiree took over Dame Dash's role when him and Jay-Z parted ways. And his first major 40-40 business venture had Desiree's dad listed as the 50% owner. Y'all remember the 40-40 clubs, right? Desiree's dad was listed as the 50% owner. So, I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think about this? And let's also not forget one thing. Desiree is super tight with Trump, or at least I imagine, because Trump pardoned her. Trump pardoned her, okay? And I imagine, by the way, Trump ain't pardoning Diddy. He doesn't give pardons to people that disrespect him, that don't show him respect, that don't honor him. And this is the last thing I want to put in you guys' ears, right? So I ask you guys, there seems to be something going on. Either Jay-Z was never really in control and Roc Nation was Desiree's brains, her money, her whatever, and she was like, and Jay-Z was just the face of it, just like he was the face of Barclays, but you know, those banks were running everything else. If Desiree put herself up and she was like the brains, the operation, the money, the funding, and she was calling all the shots, right? And Jay-Z's the face, but for how much longer is he going to be the face? And even for this Justice Alliance Reform, this is Jay-Z's mess. At least that's what I thought. And now Desiree's daughter-in-law is named the CEO and chairperson. Could be nothing, but I don't know. Is there a civil war? Is Desiree taking over Roc Nation completely so that she won't even need Jay-Z? I don't know. I do know this, right? We have to ask ourselves, so who was really, you know, those random right-wing attacks against Jay-Z that just came out randomly? He became person non grata, right? It makes me think, who was really behind those random right-wing attacks? I mean, if I was a guessing woman, I would say probably the person that had all the Republican and political ties. Now, I don't know who that is either. But has anybody asked Desiree? Because she has a lot of Republican and Republican political ties straight up to the White House, right? And she might know the people that are behind all these random attacks on Jay-Z. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's something that's very, very interesting. It's something I'm looking into. But again, that picture between them sitting, maybe or maybe not sitting at a table with Jared and Ivanka. Yeah, okay, fine. Y'all can argue about that all day. Baby, I'm wondering what's going on behind the scenes because right now it seems to be some sort of power struggle. Either that or maybe Jay-Z didn't have as much power in Roc Nation or Justice Alliance Reform as he led us to believe. And that's cool because he's still a billionaire and he's still getting his money and all this stuff. But I'm just wondering what's going on. Either that or maybe Jay-Z's just sitting back and he's like, I don't need to be the person. I'm cool where I am. But one thing I know about Jay-Z, he never seemed the type to easily play humble. I don't know. Anyway, y'all, listen, those are the exhibits. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I truly do think that something might be going on at Roc Nation. By the twitching of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Let me know what you think in the comments, or if you guys have heard any whispers. I don't know, just the fact that they weren't even shown in that picture. And then later, there's that picture that was released by one of her biggest fan accounts, which had, I would imagine, I'm just guessing, was approved by Beyonce's people, so they didn't mind that picture being out. Why did... Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.